Hello everybody, and welcome to the next kit, which is the beautiful rainbow happy birthday card, and hope you'll enjoy making this as much as I did in getting it ready. I'll just turn my camera down and I'll go through what is in your kit. So in your kit you'll have your envelope and your card. You'll have a template like this, which we're going to work on. You'll have your little pack that's got all your strips in, your happy birthday tags, and also your gems, and your 3 pieces for your frame. So to start with, we're just going to work on putting together the base of our card. You'll all have these strips, and these strips represent all the colours of the rainbow: the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo and violet. You will notice on these strips, I'll just take one of each. If you look closely at the top here, you can see there's a wider area. If I show you on the other one, there is a narrow one, so if you're matching them up, the lines will not match across, because it needs to have both the wide bits at the top or both the narrow bits. As long as they're all facing the same way, it doesn't matter whether you have the wide bit at the top or the narrow bit, as long as they're all going the same way. You have 2 of the red and 2 of the violet. So there is a specific reason for that. Because I'm working with a square card, to get enough to work across the template, I needed to have 2 of the first colour and 2 of the last colour. So we'll start now, and on this you have a square, and we're going to work within this square. So I'm just taking some tape, double-sided tape. It's better to use tape, because if you use glue, if I just show you with they actually are open slots. So if you use wet glue, it will ooze through those. So just going to put a strip of tape down, each one, when I find the end of it. So I'm just going to put a strip of tape straight down the middle and cut it off. I'll put tape on as I go, and then you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Make sure it's stuck firmly down, and just flick this up. John makes this look so easy, it never works for me. That's got it. So I'm going to take the whole of the tape off. So we're working first of all from the left hand side. If you're left hand, you'll maybe work from the right hand side, but it's exactly the same. What we need to do with this first one, if you can imagine, I'll use this piece first. We need to just overlap, I can hold this up, you need to overlap half the line with your first one, so that we get them all in going across. And so they'll just be slightly down from the bottom and over from the top. So that is my first one. So I'll then go on to the next strip. And before I put it down, I make sure that I've got the same width strip at the top as there was at the bottom, at the top on the first one. So again, just take it up when it wants to come off and pop that to a side. So because I'm working with the wider strip to the top, I need to, and I find this easiest. Now you'll find your own way, but because we've got to butt up tight to this line, I find it easiest to hold mine this way. And providing you've got the right width at the top, all your lines going across will follow along with all strips. So as you can see there, your lines continue. If I put the narrow strip here at the top, they wouldn't. If I show you what happens if I put a narrow strip there, see there, They don't follow on, they're just fractionally out. But you can have all the narrow strips at the top or all the wider strips at the top. It doesn't matter, providing that you've got all the same. So I continue on now, putting them all in order. So your order for these is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo and violet. And the easiest way I remember that is the old saying we were taught at school: Richard of York gave battle in vain. And it's strange, it's something that's always stuck in my mind, is that a lot of people seem to think there's only 6 colours in a rainbow, but there is actually the 7. And that's the easiest way to remember. And again, putting it tight up all the way down, and then going on to my next colour, which is the yellow. This can be done really with any strips of card. This strip actually is the centrepiece for John's sunflowers. But when I did the samples for this card, for John, I did this card not realising that this was a centre for the sunflowers. So it works out quite well, because it shows you that you can use it for a lot of other purposes. If you watch any of John's shows, you'll also see that I use some as window boxes, as shutters on windows. It is a very, very versatile strip that comes with this, and it is with the John Next Door sunflower flower set, which is really, really a beautiful flower. So again, we're now working down onto the green. John makes it look so easy when he pulls his up. It never works on mine. Right, so again, holding them top and bottom, making sure I've got the wide end at the top, pushing it right up to the yellow and sticking it down. So as you can see now, that is how far we've got at the moment. Got a bit of thunderbug on there from outside, I think. And also a bit of glitter as well. So we're now going on to the blue. And all these strips are from the Craft Artist linen card. So if any of you have all these colours and you want to make it again, you can cut. I'll just actually measure. If you want to just cut narrow strips, they are just 1.5 centimetres wide by 13.5 centimetres long. So you could reproduce this with just ordinary strips, 13.5 by 1.5, and you would want 9 in all, but 2 of your first colour and 2 of your last colour to actually fit in. Got it? I've chosen today to do the video because the workmen aren't too busy today, so they're not making a noise, but they have been quite noisy. So now we're on to the indigo. The indigo is a very deep purpley blue, and I say it's lovely. It's, well, this I think is called grape, but it's a lovely purpley blue. Or, whoops, that's got it. And again, making sure that I have got the wide at the top, line it up, stick it down, and then we're on to the 2 violet ones at the end. And just pop that down. I'll do both the pieces of violet with the tape on. And that's that. As I say, I wouldn't advise using wet glue for this, with it having the slots in, because it'll probably ooze through onto the front. And that's that off. And again, making sure that I've got the wide at the top. And if I've got this positioned right, this should just come nicely to the end. And that should then, lined up there, should just come nicely up to the edge. So those are all our colours in. What we're going to do now is put the first of your frames onto the card, which in this case is the lovely silver frame. And if you can see, that just fits nicely on over the top. Oops, well, when I can get it straight. So that fits on nicely over the top. Perfect fit. So on this, I'm going to actually stick this directly onto here, onto the card underneath. I'm using wet glue on this, just to run round. And just run it just round the edge. And just round the edge of the frame, aperture in the middle. It's not particularly technical card. You will notice on some of them that you've got a T marked on that's going to be the top, and because your red is always at the right hand side, that will be the top. So just going to position this over the white, so that will be on like that. And if it just needs to slide fractionally, or you can just trim it off, I've just gone a little bit off there, it is only a fraction, but just undercut it, just that little bit there. It's nothing much, but it's just taking it off. So now start and work on our main card. And you've got an 8x8 card and envelope. And this then is going to go onto here with foam tape. So as you can see here, if I bring the card in again, the silver is your first line, then your dark blue, and then your mid blue. So we're now going to use foam tape, and I've put in yours the 2mm foam tape that we get from got the name now. It's the one that John advertises on his site, something plastics. I should remember it, and I have to look it up every time I want to order. But it's super tape. I usually get 5 or maybe even 10 rolls at a time because I go through so much. So I'm just going to pop some one in the middle on here. I'm not sure, but I think I gave you enough to do that. So using my tweezers, I'm just going to turn alternate corners back, as I prefer to do, because it gives me, by using the alternate corners that aren't turned back, you've just got a little bit of positioning time before you actually stick down. So if you're not certain at getting them exactly true, and I also put just some dabs of glue, and this takes the static off the foam tape. So again, making sure that we've got the red to the right, I'm going to now hold this until I'm certain I've got it easily balanced, and then just press top and bottom, and then I can take out my tape and finish off it sticking down. Don't know whether did that all come out. No, it didn't. I'm just going to grab that little bit there. It does this sometimes, it tears, does the brown cover tape. Doesn't want to come out. There, that's got that little bit. It was only a little bit, not much. So that is your base card now that we can start and work on. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to stick this down flat onto the blue. Again, if I put it, just balance it over here, you can see it's just positioned so you've got a nice border on the outside, a nice border on the inside. And on here there is 2 T's which indicate the top, and yours will be the same. So I'm going to just run some tape on the lighter blue, just around the aperture, and turn it over. Make sure I've got the T at the top. I think it's that way. And oh, it isn't. I've got it the wrong way around now. That's it. And then just carefully line it up. The outside borders are very narrow. The inner borders are just that little bit wider. So as you can see there, that is then all mounted with your even borders, narrow on the outside, wider on the inside. So these now will be added to your card with foam tape, and I'm putting that just straight down the middle. Doesn't need to be right at the end, but if you just position it in the middle, just like this, and on all 4 sides, and the last piece, and again just double checking that I've got the right. No, it is that way. I thought it was. Yes, it's that, but no, it isn't. I've covered over one of the T's, I think. One of the top marks. I think that's it. That's the one. So I need to make sure that that is the top. And again, just alternate corners. Bit of glue. Just some little dabs, just to take the static off so it doesn't grab straight away. And just position this. And that's it. Then just pull our tapes out. So we've got to that stage now. So now we can open our little bag of bits with our gems and our happy birthday. I'm going to add these with just a little bit of foam tape, but don't put your foam tape right to the end. Leave about 1 centimetre. Drop that bit off and leave about 1 centimetre at the end. So you just want to leave that as a gap on both of the pieces, because that is going to actually sit partially on, if you can see, and it's going to actually butt up to the light colour on the top layer of your frame. So I'll take the backing off, a little bit of glue, and just a dab just along the edge there. So what we do then is make sure we've got it in the right place. Put birthday there, and you can use the lines. So you can use your lines on the strips to make sure you've got it straight. And again, some dabs of glue on there, and just a little strip just down the edge. And pop that one in there, and again, so that goes all nicely lined up. Now going to go to our gems, and I've just done them on alternate corners. You can do them whichever way you like. So I just put a dab of glue where I'm going to put the gems. So I've got one big one in the corner, and one medium, well, there's one smaller one. I think there is only 2 sizes in these. And again, just at the bottom, so there's one in the middle, one there, and one there. Again, big one in the middle, and a smaller one there. And when this one wants to come off, the backing, and that one there, and just put my lid on my glue. So that is the finished card that we've made today. That was the sample which I had to make with a different strip, but that is how it works out. So I hope you enjoy making this card. It is a nice card. It is suitable for a man, a teenager, or a lady. What you can do is you can add flowers on it. I've just done it as a base card, so you could add, let's say, flowers. You could leave it as it is. You could even put different gems on if you wish, but that is your base card, and I hope you enjoy making it. I will see you on the next video, and I hope you enjoy making all these kits. So bye for now.